You have found what lights you up. I'm your host, Sunny the Life Coach, and I'm here because I see you searching for something or someone out there to help you feel better. Something to take away the pain that you're feeling, the inadequacies. I know all of the things that happen in life can leave you feeling empty. Your search is over. This podcast is all about finding your own freedom and power to love yourself enough to shine in the ways you were always meant to, the ways in which you are already fully capable of. If you're ready for some real talk, some serious truth bombs, and a few F-bombs, you are in the right place. Let's do this. Let's get lit. Hey there, and welcome to another solo episode with Sunny, the life coach, the only one you will ever need. The one. I am a big deal. And I'm not saying that from a place of superiority at all. That's what I want to talk with you about today. What a big deal I am, what a big deal you are, and all of us truly are, if we are willing to see ourselves. Before I go there, I just want to give a shout out to Kansas for upholding women's rights to their own bodies. And this just happened last night. I was up late watching the results roll in online. I don't watch news channels. It was just something I saw come through on my Twitter feed, and wow, Kansas, I'm so impressed. I saw that not only was voter turnout super high, and not only was the question on the ballot framed in such a way to be super confusing, you had to vote no in order to uphold women's rights, but voter registration was also huge, and 70% of new voter registrants in Kansas were women. Might seem as if some entities out there have dipped their hands in the hornet's nest. Do not fuck with women. We are kind of a big deal. There is no procreation without us, and these state-led laws are super dangerous and a threat to our livelihood as a species. I am not mincing words here. Women die every single day simply trying to procreate in the first place. If you are a returning listener, you know that I have shared before my own battles with infertility, the 2 ectopic pregnancies that nearly killed me, and how grateful I am to have had access to emergency care in the moments that I needed it the most. And this was more than 20 years ago, mind you. Both occasions, let's not roll back and put healthcare professionals in the position to have to make a judgment call around their training to save lives and weigh that decision with whether or not they will be prosecuted for doing their job. Just getting that out of the way right up front. This is not about politics, my friends. This is not partisanship. This is a human rights issue. One of the many basic fundamental human rights that are under serious threat. I will always, always support a human being's right to make their own healthcare decisions. Because I cannot, for the life of me, imagine one of those doctors just let me die all of those years ago because they were afraid of being charged with a crime. My God, what is even happening? So I want to thank the women of Kansas today for showing us all how it's done. It was a no vote. No more fucking around. And that is a pretty big deal. Now, let's talk about you. What a big deal you are. And I almost made the title of this episode, I'm kind of a big deal. Because we've heard that phrase a lot, haven't we? But I got to thinking, that's a very subtle and effective way to minimize yourself. To diminish your accomplishment in order to not come across as too abrasive or full of yourself, right? I'm kind of a big deal. And you say it enough times that it becomes a belief that I'm just kind of, whatever you're kind of. I'm kind of a big deal. No, you are a big deal. To illustrate this point, let's think about how affirmations work, shall we? I have this little book of affirmations that I picked up a few years ago, and I check with from time to time if I want a little inspiration. You might have one of these yourself. They are all framed as I am statements. Because really what affirmations are, they are little bits of guidance on how to talk to yourself and about yourself. And often we talk to ourselves with such disdain. Like, I can't believe you just did that or said that. What were you thinking? That's our conditioning. And it's also continuous reinforcement that we should not hold ourselves in high regard. That's arrogance. That's superiority. That's wrong. But is it? In my opinion, the best way to keep people oppressed is to have them believe that they are oppressed, and they hold themselves back over time without much effort at all. It just comes naturally. So when I check in with my little book of affirmations, I will see statements in the section around self-image, for example, that are statements like, I am a good person. I am grateful for being given the gift of life. I am able to express my feelings with others. I am. When you use I am statements, it's one way to start deprogramming yourself from all of the bullshit you've been taught over a lifetime so far. And let's talk about that last one for just a hot minute, shall we? I am able to express my feelings with others. Whew, that was a fun little challenge that I just did with my group last week. You may have heard me mention the emotional freedom experience that I kicked off on July 25th. I didn't give you a whole lot of lead time on that one because, to be honest, it was a bit of a trial run, but it went very well, and I think I'm definitely going to run it again, or some version of it. It's probably going to be even better. Please stay tuned, stay connected, and the opportunity will come back around for sure. Anyway, it was a 5-day experience, and what I ended up doing was feeling out those who were participating about what I wanted to challenge them with, what would be most beneficial for them. I really enjoyed just allowing things to unfold as they were meant to and being completely flexible throughout the experience. Kind of how we navigate life. We plan out a lot of things, but sometimes you just have to roll with it. And we need to have those experiences too. The rolling with it, the letting go, the releasing, the riding of the waves. So what I ended up going with was actually that very affirmation. I am able to express my feelings with others. Only I didn't frame it that way, and I didn't call it an affirmation. I called it a confrontation. Oh, Lord, don't say the C word. You want me to confront someone? And what does it mean to confront a person? If you search this on Google, you're going to see some kind of harsh language around it. Like, to confront someone is to meet with a person with whom you disagree. Okay, so far so good. Or whom you will accuse of something. And the example given is I had to confront him about the damage to the car. And that's what we've done to this word. We've made it a bad word. We put a negative connotation on it. It doesn't have to be accusatory at all. But it does mean that you have to say the words to someone else. It means you have to speak your truth. And that makes a lot of people super uncomfortable to say what they are really thinking. What I realized in working with this group is that they, and we, the collective we, have been doing just about anything to avoid confrontation. And what happens when we avoid, when we sweep it under the proverbial rug, well, that rug is you. You absorb the mess and the muck of it. You take it into your body and you hold it there until it makes you sick. No lie, we hold so much in our bodies, in our nervous systems, and we do it all because we don't want to be seen in a certain way by others. We don't want to be seen as confrontational. When, as you know, you have zero control over what another human thinks about you. Zero. None. It's not possible. It isn't a thing. You can posture and couch it and plan it and perfect how that movie script in your mind is going to play out. But as soon as you introduce another character, all bets are off. Because guess what? They haven't read your script. They haven't studied it. They haven't even laid eyes on it. What they have been doing is following their own script, and it may or may not be complementary to yours. You don't know these things until you have a freaking conversation. But man, we will not do that for the life of us. And yes, I said conversation, not confrontation. Maybe that's a more tolerable C word to use. I don't know. Quite honestly, I am just beyond dancing around with words, trying to find ones that are the least offensive. I'm over it. I cannot possibly ascertain in advance what words might offend you personally, because it isn't the same for everyone. I love you, and I'm not playing those games anymore. I'm just calling it like I see it. I'm saying the words that come to mind. I am trusting myself, and that means I'm a big deal. It's a huge deal to learn to trust yourself, because the world around us is constantly telling us that we can't be trusted. Like, we can't be trusted to make decisions about whether we live or die in a medical emergency. I can't be trusted, and neither can my doctor. See? I trusted that internal nudge to say what I wanted to say at the top of this episode, even though there was a little voice in the back of my mind that said, "You sure you want to go there?" Yeah, I do actually. I'm done trying to blend in. I'm done trying to chase popularity. I'm over it all. Life is too short. I will not arrive at the sunset of this life of mine and regret the things I never said. I will not. So my reference to the Kansas vote this week is actually a fantastic tie-in, because it's a prime example of how our society, our systems of government, and all of the propaganda around us tries to reinforce that we can't be trusted. It's everywhere, all day, every day. Pay attention to the messaging that you receive on any given day, especially women and marginalized humans. It happens to all of us, for sure. But the ones that really need to be kept in their place and under the thumb are women and marginalized humans. And we are getting loud. It is time. What a beautiful time to be alive. So what I did with that 5-day emotional freedom experience is that I did the first 4 days, Monday through Thursday. And then on Thursday, I said, take the weekend and find one person that you need to speak your truth to and actually do it. Say the thing. Then we will come back on Monday and share how it went. Now, I know this much. You won't die. You will never die from feeling an emotion. I promise. And one of my participants on Monday was sharing and said, well, it wasn't a really big deal. And I said, of course it was. You are a big deal. Doing this is a big deal. Stepping outside of your comfort zone, whatever that looks like for you, and it is different for each of us, is a big fucking deal. You are a big deal. Acknowledge that. Tell yourself. Speak those words out loud. I am a big deal. As Rumi says, we watch a sunlight dust dance, and we try to be that lively. But nobody knows what music those particles hear. Each of us has a secret companion musician to dance to. Unique rhythmic play. Emotion in the street. We alone know and hear. Yes, it is time you listened to what is inside of you. What is that calling? It sure doesn't want to keep hiding. I don't believe that. That calling, it is the path to your own internal freedom. Answer it. Talk to yourself as if you were talking to the love of your life. Speak your love. Speak it again. Speak it still once again. And it is an act of love to express your emotions to another human. It is absolutely love. And it is an act of self-care because you are not going to be carrying that burden anymore. You will have released it when you do the thing. I'm willing to bet that speaking your truth is not going to be nearly as difficult as your mind has scripted it out. And each time you do it, it gets a little easier and a little easier until it just becomes who you are now. I am a person who is willing to speak her truth. You are that person too. You simply decide that you are. Make that choice. And in my recent Twitter explorations, I did come across this tweet that said, "I have no regrets, just really cool stories." Love it. Exactly this. If you have not yet joined my new Facebook group, What Lights You Up, be sure to do that because that's where I show up live weekly and I'm working on special events as well. You'll also be in the know about when I set up the next experience. It is sure to be amazing. Light up, shine on.